going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Hello again to YouTube. I was on YouTube twice earlier today making sure all of our chat commands would work, and also to test out the multi-platform game development, and that's also working great. So pretty happy about that. Working on an idea now for the Battleship game. What if players on each platform can send a plane at the same time? Provided, I guess we'd have to check that they're not both firing at the same place. Unless they're both firing on the same position. But yeah, welcome in, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. Say hi in chat if you're around. Otherwise, I'm just going to work on some code, unless we have some career questions come in. Working on a little vibe code change right now. So basically, my idea is that if we have multiple platforms configured and we have people joining the game from multiple platforms, what if we allow one plane per platform to fire on the ships, provided that they're a different coordinate? Because if it's the same coordinate, then we only need to send one plane. But if we have multiple coordinates from each platform, then we'll follow the same kind of thing as to like which coordinate we're going to fire on, but we'll send multiple planes. And only send one plane about all platforms who fired on that position get the same credit. If platforms have multiple coordinates entered, then we'll do the same kind of coordinate scoring check as we currently do. Except before I do this, I need to change the model that I'm on. Because my quota just got refreshed for the week for GLM, so I'm going to just use that one for now. Love GLM, do it. It's going to be way faster. But yeah, welcome in everybody. Going to do a little vibe coding while we wait for everyone else to come in. Yeah, so we're going to basically get our AI agent to brainstorm a little on this and think about what to do and how to do, what all it's going to need to change and so on. And then maybe ask me some questions to verify what I want to do. So I've got a whole bunch of these things kind of set up and wired up to do like brainstorming and ask me lots of questions and stuff like that. So how does this feature relate to the existing model? So toggle on top of any mode. Let's say we'll make the platform teams a game setup argument. Surprise bees, welcome in. Good to see you. Welcome to the first time chat. My name is Ian. I usually do, Sunday is usually my career development day where I help people with interview prep and resume reviews and stuff like that. We haven't had any come in, so I'm just kind of chilling, working on some Streamer.bot games for doing like chat games and stuff like that for both Twitch, YouTube, and Kick. Well, both, all of the above. Primarily, I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube. I do have a Kick account, but I haven't streamed on there in several years, but I want all of these things to basically be able to handle any of the platforms that a streamer may be on. And all of these games and ideas and so on are open sourced. And so I share them freely with other people. Yeah, don't remember how or when I found this channel. Well, welcome in either way. It looks like it's a first time chat. I don't know if it's like the first time in this chat or if it's your first time ever, but welcome in. Good to have you here. Following since January 2023, so it's been a hot minute. I didn't stream for about 2 years. So between April 2024 and this past June, I didn't stream. So you might have followed me for about a year and a half before I stopped streaming. And then I took a 2-year break and now I'm back at it. So perhaps another streamer rated you at the time. Probably, yeah. 2023 is a minute ago for sure. Yeah. But welcome in. So, I mean, back then I would have been doing like 3D printing, airbrushing, as well as live coding and career stuff. And so you might have seen me doing like 3D printing. I was doing a lot of dragons, a lot of giveaways and stuff back then. 2023 was a big year for fundraising, giving away lots of dragons, like the little flexible models that kind of move around and stuff like that. So it might have been something like that way, way back in the day. Yeah. So welcome in. I'm back to streaming, mostly focusing on career development stuff and live coding and vibe coding right now. And not really streaming about 3D printing, although I still do 3D printing. I've still got 4 3D printers. I think it was up to 14 at one point. But I'm down to 4, and I still do some 3D printing, but it's been a minute. I've got a lot of software projects kind of on the go that I want to get working before I do too much more in the 3D printing realm side of things. I don't know that I'll ever get back to streaming 3D printing or the airbrushing stuff that I used to do in the painting. So I would like 3D print cosplay pieces and then paint them. Or I would do like these really big, elaborate, like dragon things, and then go in and airbrush and hand paint them. And then I was giving those away basically on the channel. So I'd 3D print something. I would buy a model, I'd 3D print it, and then I'd give it away. Or I'd print it, paint it, and then give it away. And some of them were enormous. One of them, I remember the person that won it took a picture of it on the hood of their car. It didn't take up the whole hood of the car, but like the wingspan on it was probably 3 feet across, if I remember right. It was pretty large. It was, a dragon with the wings spread out and stuff. It was very elaborate. And then basically painted it on stream, taking input from chat on like, what colors should I paint the thing? So might have been some of that back in the day. But yeah, right now I'm focusing on some live coding. So I built out a battleship game that we can play here on Twitch, and I've adapted it now that people on YouTube can also play. And it's the typical like battleship grid, if you've ever played Battleship as a board game, where somebody's like hiding boats on a 10 by 10 grid and you're firing at positions, trying to hit their boat and sink the boat. And basically, I've built that now as a chat game that we can all collectively play. And we kind of stress tested it on Thursday. Had some really, really good feedback from folks. And one of the main pieces of feedback was basically every coordinate that was being entered in chat was being averaged out. And so like you'd see the little reticle kind of moving around the grid as people were typing in votes. And then once the timer ran out, it would take whatever that average is and it would fire on that position. And some people weren't crazy about that idea because they're like, well, you could end up firing on a spot that you don't want. It's like, yeah, but that's part of working with chat on which spot do we want. Let's all aim at that spot. But you're always going to get some rogue player coming in that throws off your average or whatever, starts to skew things. And on YouTube, what we found is on YouTube chat, you can enter the same coordinate over and over and over again. And YouTube doesn't really stop you from spamming, but Twitch does. Twitch will block you from spamming the same message more than I think once every 30 seconds or something like that. And it used to be a setting that a streamer could turn off, but now they don't allow that to get turned off. And so, so what I had to do was adapt it where you could enter the coordinate as lowercase number, uppercase number, lowercase space number, uppercase space number, and you could just type the same thing like over and over again, just alternating the case of it, because then to Twitch, it looks like a unique message, but it would still get interpreted as the same coordinate. Reprinted, good to see you in chat. Welcome in. And so what I did instead, based on feedback from our stress test on Thursday, was I built the game out now to where everybody in chat will see their position show up on the grid. And any position that gets fired on more will show up with like a darker sort of reticle, and everyone else will start to fade away. And so people will start to see which ones are more popular, and they can change their vote and whatever until the timer runs out. And then it'll figure out from there which position to fire on. And so that way we can show multiple positions. So what I'm thinking now with the gameplay, and this is part of the prompting that I'm putting in here, is what if we did that across multiple platforms? So if the streamer's on multiple platforms, maybe we'll send one coordinate per platform. And so that'll mean sending multiple planes. That'll also finish the game a little bit faster, because right now playing a game even on easy mode could easily take half an hour to play. Where if we play on both YouTube and Twitch, and if I was also streaming on Kick, I would try to find some people on Kick to join in as well. But it would finish the game that much faster, unless the platforms are also all like agreeing and shooting at the same place. So that's where things might get a little tricky. But yeah, so I wanted to try to see how well we could adapt the current structure of what we have. And so that's part of the prompting that I've got going on over on this side over here. Or if you're watching in vertical mode, the prompt is down below me here. But what we're going to work on here is a way to have AI help us out with this and say, we're going to make it an argument for whether the streamer wants to do platform teams or just have everybody combined as one platform. So if everybody's combined, it'll just continue to work as is. But if we do a platform split, then players on each individual platform will get to enter their own coordinates and handle like which one is most popular for their platform and so on. So yeah, I think we're gonna try to build that in just to see like what's it gonna look like. You never know. It could look horrible. It could go really, really badly. In which case we'll just revert the code and we don't worry about it. But I think it'll be fun to do. So my AI agent's basically asking me some clarifying questions here. How do we want to set up the team-based thing? And we'll just say it's a startup argument or a setup argument that we'll call platform teams, and it'll be a Boolean of true or false. And then the second one is for the standalone teams mode. No, we don't want that. Is it always on? No toggle. I mean, that won't matter either way. Cool. So I just have to give it one answer here. Video Tracks, welcome in. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. And someone else followed, I guess, a couple of days ago, the Bob that I know. It's a great name. So my name's Ian. On Sunday, I'm typically doing career prep, interview advice, resume reviews, things like that. So I usually pause whatever else I'm doing if a question comes in about like, hey, I got an interview coming up, or hey, I'm thinking about changing my job. Hey, can you look at my resume? And I'm more than happy to pause what I'm doing and just focus 100% on that to help people out. But in the meantime, we're going to be live coding. So if you have questions, absolutely 100% you can interrupt me at any time. There's a !resume command that you can do in chat. I'll just put it here on all the platforms. And this will basically give you a link to where you can get a free resume review. You can just submit your resume there. It'll email me a copy and notify me that a resume has arrived, and we'll pull that up and we'll go through it on stream. The only thing that I ask is that you change your name and change your phone number, change your email address and things like that so you don't dox yourself, because this does get broadcast on the internet and the VOD does stay live on Twitch for a while. And so I don't want to dox anybody. I think a week ago, I had somebody ask for a resume review and they didn't change anything. And I was able to pull it up in a browser and like draw, and kind of scribble over their name and email and things like that. So it's not visible to people, but I'd rather not do that. I'd rather just pull it up as is. So it's up to you if you want to redact that information. I do ask you to fill out the checkboxes on the form if you send that in, but happy to do free resume reviews for anybody and anybody who wants a resume review. Happy to do that at any time. If you do send one, just ping me in chat because I'm not always monitoring the email coming in. But if I do see an email coming in, then I will 100% take a look at that. All right. Sorry, just checking the email to see if anything had come in, and nothing had come in yet. So we're going to keep sort of vibe coding and working on this cross-platform battleship game. And then once it's ready to try out, happy to I love the little note taking. Is that a hamster, or I can't quite tell what kind of little cute little animal it is taking notes on there, but great little emote over on Twitch. So yeah, otherwise we'll just keep vibe coding on this, and then once we get it to a point where we want to try it out, we can play a game. I'm logged in on YouTube, so I can try sending coordinates over and make sure it's going to work okay. You believe it's a dragon? Maybe. I mean, all those little icons that you're dropping over on Twitch emotes are pretty great. Cool. So it asked question 2. So it's basically in what we call grill me mode, where it's asking me like a bunch of questions just to clarify what it is that I want it to do. And so it's saying right now, easy normal mode, you pick the most voted coordinate across all the players, and extreme averages everything. So I think we'll keep extreme mode the same. So extreme mode will still average all platforms together. Oh, actually, no, I think, so easy and normal mode, actually, what's the best way to describe this? We'll still do the platform split if that argument is set to true. Extreme mode will average each platform and still send an extra plane per platform. Okay, what else was it asking here? With teams turned on, each platform needs its own target. So per platform targeting, same mode rules. Yeah, I think we're going to keep with that. Per platform, most voted regardless of mode. Definitely keep a team feel. My recommendation is A, preserves the mode identity and the streamer picked. If they choose extreme teams, they get the chaos of per platform averages. Yeah, so it sounds like we want all the same mode rules. We just want it per platform split. So let's do option A. We can keep an eye on my my billing here as well. See how we're doing on the billing. Oh, I've only used like 0.5% of my daily usage and 0.1% of my weekly usage on this so far. So pretty lightweight. Okay, so question 3, how are hits and points credited when platforms fire on the same cell? So if the cell is a hit, all players will get credit. If it's a mine, all players will lose points in extreme mode. So what I've built in the game is I have an easy mode, a normal mode, and an extreme mode. And in normal mode, I introduce mines that if you hit a mine, it times out half of the players. And in extreme mode, if you hit a mine, it also deducts points. So you win points every time you hit a boat. And then once you sink the boat, it shows everything on the screen and so on. And at the very end, there could be bonus points involved if you don't hit any mines. Then there are bonus points to give out. But otherwise, you just gain points by hitting the boat. But in extreme mode, if you hit a mine, you lose points. And it's usually the same amount of points that you get for hitting a boat. And in extreme mode, there are 3 times as many mines as there are boats. So there, in a perfect battleship game, there are 17 hits on all the boats, and I think there are 51 mines in extreme mode. So you have a 1 in 4 chance if you're hitting something that you're actually hitting a boat, and 3 in 4 chance that you're actually going to hit a mine and lose points. So in extreme mode, you could walk away with a lot less points than you started with. But I think that'll be fun for kind of chaos mode. And it's also up to the streamer, like how many points to deduct. They can always like change those values, but I think I've got it set right now to where you can actually lose more points playing an extreme game than you get by actually playing the game. So Lila Rose, welcome in. Good to see you over on Twitch. So we're just improving our battleship game a little bit more. We're basically, I got it working between YouTube and Twitch, but right now it's combining everything the same way that it was on Thursday. What we're doing now is we're actually going to split it by platform. And so each platform is going to send their own plane. And so it'll end the game hopefully a little faster, or at least progress the game a little bit faster. So if a cell is hit, all players will get credit across all platforms that aimed at that spot. What else is it asking here? So GG Bav, what's going on, bud? GG Bav was playing some Fortnite a minute ago. Are you done streaming already? Or are you still streaming? Nope, you're still there, still streaming. Did I watch the World Cup chip? Nope. I heard there was something about soccer going on, but go sports ball. Yeah, Spain won the World Cup. That's about all I know, and I only got that because I watched a headline on the news. So Messi lost. All right, let's hope everyone's having a good day. Good to see you, GBAV. Looks like GBAV's taking a break over on his stream, doing a little intermission going on. Oh, we got the high ground going on. That's another one that I want to kind of do is I kind of want to make the high ground platform dependent, where the streamer can have high ground, but the high ground is based on the platform, not necessarily the person. So right now it's by the person, but what if the high ground thing was by a platform? Like right now Twitch has the high ground, but if someone on YouTube claims the high ground later, then YouTube would have the high ground. I think that could be kind of fun. So lots of interesting like platform versus platform kind of ideas to go on here. And then of course with Kick and so on. And Mr. Nosy wants to come say hi to everybody. All right, come on, say hi to everybody. This is Riker. Hi, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hmm? Riker loves being part of the stream, don't you? Hmm? Yeah, you like being on stream, don't you? You see a puppy up there? You see a puppy up on the screen? Yeah. All right, well, GG Bev's back to playing his video game, so he's busy playing Fortnite and taking people out. And yeah, meanwhile, we're over here building our own little games, so let's head back over here. So so 2 planes resolved to the same cell. We'll just make 1 plane fly. If multiple platforms at the same coordinate, we'll only send 1 plane there. Part of me wants to change the peg color. That if something gets hit, that we actually put the platforms icon on there instead of the red peg. I don't know, that might look a little too cluttered. But that way we could at least see like which platform got more hits than others. Lila Roy's, because him is a handsome boy. Yeah, he's quite the handsome little guy for sure. So yeah, that was the other thing that I was debating is if we're playing with multiple streaming platforms, that instead of just the red peg on the ship, we actually put the platform that got that hit. And we wouldn't for misses. Like misses don't count, but we do care about hits, and that way we can kind of visually see like which platform got more hits. That could be kind of interesting too. We'll consider that one. We'll consider that one. I might add that in later once we get this first part working. So so if multiple platforms shoot the same coordinate, we'll only send 1 plane. What else is it asking me here? How are the points awarded? So only players on a platform that hit the cell. Twitch players who voted get points only if Twitch's target hit. If YouTube's target missed, YouTube players get nothing that round. Yeah, I like option A for that one. So only players on the platform whose target actually hit. If both platforms hit the same cell, both platform voters get points. Yeah, I think I've kind of already got that. If a cell is hit, all players get credit. The way we currently give out points. I think that'll answer its question. If multiple platforms shoot at the same coordinate, we only send 1 plane. Ask more questions if that's unclear. Are you making these to sell to others or just for yourself? I give them away for free. So anybody who streams, if you use Streamer.bot, these games are available for you to download and use. And so we have the higher lower game, and we've got Battleship. if you're only on Twitch or if you stream on Twitch, we do have the stock game that you see kind of happening under Lila's chat message right now. Westery coming in. What's up, Westery? Good to have Westery in. The shout out thing is still broken. What's Twitch? I know, right? Let's try and do an actual shout out for Westerly one without the L. Welcome in, Westery. Good to see you. Westery is a good friend who streams mostly Lego now. Used to also do 3D printing like I did. Does less 3D printing, does more Lego, and just kind of hanging out with folks. And has multiple adorable little dogs. You all think Riker's cute. You should go check out Westery's brood of animals. And Westery also does some IRL streaming as well from time to time. So go give Westery a follow too. Really, really chill vibes over on Westery stream. So yeah, we're basically improving our battleship game. So I basically built out a battleship game, and I'm working on a way right now to sort of split it across multiple platforms. So right now, if we play the game on Twitch and YouTube, everybody's coordinates all show up on the map, and it picks one to fire on. And I'm trying to set it up right now where each platform will send a plane. And so if YouTube picks one coordinate and Twitch picks another coordinate, they'll both send a plane, and it'll just finish the game a little bit faster that way. So that'll be that'll hopefully make the game faster to play, because when we stress tested it on Thursday, it took the better part of, I want to say, like 45 minutes to an hour to play one game, and it felt really, really long. That reminds me, I got something to do in about 5 minutes. So since this thing hasn't actually changed any code yet, I'm actually going to start a game, and you can all play if you like, and I'm just going to let it run. Basically, I started playing another mobile game, and they have an event that happens at 7 p.m. my time here in Denver, and that happens, and it's like a half-hour long event, and I'm like one of the bigger players in the game, and so they asked me to be involved and asked me to actually be there and help them in the game. So I need to go take care of that for a half hour. I'll still be streaming and I'll talk in between kinds of things going on. But if anybody else plays the game King Shot, it's basically that game. And there's an event in there where they trap a bear and everybody sends out rallies to kill the bear and whatnot. And because I'm one of the bigger players in the game, they want me to be a rally caller person to go do the thing. So I got to go take care of that. So I'm going to start a battleship game here that you can all join and play, and I'll kind of provide commentary kind of as we go. So we'll switch over to this view and we will start. I'm just going to do a normal battleship game. Westery's got to go feed some horses. Enjoy. Good luck with that. I'm going to do just an easy mode game. And so it'll basically, as you put coordinates in, they'll all show up on the map and you can all fire at your own thing. And if a coordinate gets more than one vote, you'll start to see that reticle stay darker, and everyone else will kind of fade away. And so I'm going to go ahead and join too, so I can jump in occasionally with this. But feel free to start putting some coordinates in chat once the game gets started. You got about 40 seconds to join, and then yeah, you can play as much as you like, and then yeah. We'll just let this thing roll. I've got about 2 minutes before I have to join this other game. And then I wish I had a way of showing that on the screen so you could see me playing. But yeah, basically me playing King Shot over here. And have my stream down on the bottom corner, of course. So yeah, so I got to go get that set up and figure out where I am. There I am. It only takes me like a moment to start a rally, and then I can be back here on the stream. So the game hasn't started yet, Westery, but once it does, so we got 5 seconds left for people to join. You can also join anytime, but the game's going to start in like right now. So there's 3 players joined in, and basically it'll let us know like, okay, it's time to start playing. So now you can just start putting your coordinate in chat. So, and you can enter as many coordinates as you like. We can do like G4 and we can do 8 and 8 and whatever. And you'll start to see them all kind of show up on the map. If anybody else aims at that same one, it'll get a little darker and the rest of them will start to fade away because those are less popular. And then basically what's happening is the game will do a tiebreaker. and figure out which one has the most votes. So if I vote for B6 again, we'll see that that one stays dark and the rest of them kind of fade out a little bit. So if you really want another coordinate, fire at it again if you can. And then once the timer runs out, it'll figure out which coordinate or coordinates plural have the most things, and then it'll do a tiebreaker between those. So just to show you how that can work. So go ahead and play. I've got about a minute before I gotta, actually, nope, I take that back. It's on cooldown. Wait, is it on cooldown or are we doing the thing tonight? I think they changed the time of the event. It's happening on the 20th at, oh, it's tomorrow. It's not tonight. All right, never mind. Yeah, it's on cooldown for another 23 and a half hours. Okay, so I don't have that other game to play. Yeah, so we can all continue to play some Battleship, I guess.
Stand by.
All right, gotta do some other stuff here on Twitch and get some other administrative stuff out of the way. Cool, there we go. All right, I'm back. Yeah, let's do B3. Or we can also do B7. So what's interesting is me as the streamer, I can add, like I can type the same coordinate over and over again, but the rest of you can't for some reason. Apparently it's a permanent security thing on Twitch. But for some reason the streamer can do the same chat message over and over again, but they allow it on YouTube as well. YouTube chat, you can put the same coordinate in as often as you like. But on Twitch, apparently, you can only put in like the same kind of message every 30 seconds. So what you have to do if you really want the same coordinate is you can do lowercase c2 and then do uppercase c2. Or you can do lowercase c2 and then lowercase c space 2. We'll take all of those. So you can do uppercase or lowercase, and you can put a space in between the letter and the number or not. And we'll take all of those, basically, and consider those. So if you really want a spot, fire on it over and over again. I wouldn't fire again at B3. It's going to tell you that we've already fired there. But yeah, this is the kind of game that I've been building, Westry. Just been doing fun, goofy little stuff like this. So let me go join over on YouTube. And it should allow me to join. Yep, there we go. And so now I can add coordinates over here. So I can do like C1, for example. So I did C1 over on YouTube. And now you see in the top 10 players, if you're not watching in vertical mode, you'll see the panels on the left and you'll see that Ian Douglas on YouTube now has entered one coordinate. And so you can also kind of see a ranking of like who's putting in the most coordinates to fire on. And what I want to do is I want to split this out by platform now. This is part of what I was working on when Westry came in, is having a way for people on YouTube to enter coordinates and people on Twitch to enter coordinates, and we'll send multiple planes. So we'll send one plane per streaming platform. So if I was also on Kick and we had people on Kick, or if I was on Trovo, also had people on Trovo, we could potentially be sending 4 planes, and that would finish the game much, much faster. So that's one way of doing it. Another thing that we could maybe do here is if we don't do the team mode, is the streamer could specify how many planes to send per round. So maybe it'll pick like the top 2 voted things, or you know, the top 3 or 5 or however many planes they actually want to send. It could get a little chaotic though, having like multiple planes fly over. We would probably want to restrict it to like no more than 3 or something like that, or I don't know. We'll have to see. So yeah, if you actually hit a boat, you'll start getting some points. But you'll actually have to hit something for that to happen. Anyway, so this is the fun kind of game. I figured this would be fun for like a streamer that's got to like, you know, go feed their horses for the next little while. Like put on a Battleship game where you're still streaming, you still have chat engagement and whatever, and people are kind of locked in playing a game for a couple of minutes. But if you're on multiple platforms, hey, we finally hit something. All right, so let's do like A9 and B10. Figured this could be like a fun sort of thing for streamers who needed like extended BRB and still want that engagement without like, oh, I'm going to go offline and I'll come back and stream again in an hour kind of thing. They can just leave their stream running. And if they're on multiple platforms, then, we could have like a platform rivalry. It's kind of the thing I'm thinking here.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1.
In Infinite, Infinite with an O. Welcome in. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. So this is the kind of stuff that I love building on stream. All right, so it looks like we're going to be a vertical mounted boat of some kind here. So like doing B10, C10, maybe D10. I don't know. We'll see how big that boat is. But I'm thinking we could probably let the streamer pick how many planes they want. If they're not in team mode, and if they are in team mode, then we'll send one plane per platform. That's kind of the change that I want to try to make tonight and see whether that'll work. In the meantime, if people have interview questions, resume questions, things like that, you're always 100% permitted to interrupt things in chat and say, hey, I got a question. And more than happy to take some time and help you out. That's primarily what I'm here for, is to help run interview prep and career prep and stuff like that for folks. So if you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll let you continue your battleship game. All right, so it looks like B10 and C10 are probably going to be good coordinates to fire on. So keep going. We got a few seconds left here, and there's a little bit of lag in here for sure. Darth Gollum says, "Thank you for the interview prep help. Always happy to help, Darth Gollum."
Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active.
Darth Gollum, did you have that other meeting yet? Because you mentioned that you were potentially having some chats with folks. Hopefully the message that I sent the other day was helpful. Yeah, I don't need to be on that game, so let me close down the game. Yeah, I thought the game thing was tonight, but it's tomorrow. Nothing yet. They were passing my resume in on Friday. Awesome. Well, good luck with that. Hope that works out well for you. Let's see, are we gonna sync something? Nope. So our carrier is definitely over on that outer edge. So let's drop some. Oops, not D10. I want E10. I'm just going to overload it here so we know we're going to fire on E10 no matter what. I'm going to go put that over here as E10 over on YouTube as well so I get some points over on YouTube. So yeah, we basically built this out to where people on multiple platforms can all play together. And then I was starting to build out a vibe code thing where we could have multiple platforms sending multiple planes. So people on YouTube, whatever they enter, we'll send a plane for them, and people on Twitch will send a plane for them. And what I was debating is whether we put the platform icon
That ship is sunk. Returning to base.
instead of the red peg, so we can actually see like, oh, that hit was from somebody at YouTube, or that hit was somebody at Twitch, or so on. I think that could be kind of fun. But you're welcome to join at any time. You can join the game at any point, up until the very last round. You can continue to join the game. Blah blah blah. Exactly, Minion. Good to see Minion in chat as well. Minion's a live music streamer here on Twitch as well. But yeah, this is the latest game that I made, Minion. I think you were here on Thursday. I think you saw it. And based on feedback that we got from people.
Command, this is Eagle 1. We didn't get any coordinates. Transmit again. Over.
So that's what we hear if nobody enters a coordinate. But yeah, I basically took a lot of feedback from folks on Thursday and improved the game. So now if you type in multiple locations, so let's say we do like A1, A4, and A7, we see them all show up. And then the platform will basically look at the count for each of the coordinates that were entered, and then it'll do a tiebreaker on its own to try to figure out which one of those to fire upon. and it's going to go shoot at one of these 3 locations because nobody else entered a position. But yeah, you can continue to join the game at any point.
Eagle 1. Targeting systems active.
Or we can just,
Stand
we
by.
can stop the game and continue to work on making that platform change. The platform role that I want to do is basically that as people come in and want to play the game, oh, for some reason the game isn't showing on YouTube mode. Why is that? Oh, it's just really behind. I'm just going to reload my live stream thing over on YouTube. It says I am live. Interesting. There it goes. What we wanted to do is have each platform send their own plane.
Roger, command.
So that was something that we had just started to build out when a few folks came in, thought, you know what, let's just start a game and play a game. But I'm going to go ahead and end the game here since we're mostly missing. We'll see where everything was on the map.
Command, this is Eagle 1. We lost, sir.
Game over.
Game over.
So I had fun doing the little text-to-speech prompting and stuff like that too. So so basically what I'm going to do here, oops, back over on the screen. What we want to do here is continue on this prompting because we're basically vibe coding this thing. We're going to vibe code a change for it at least and just see if we can get this working by the end of the day, the end of the stream. So I've got, I don't know, about 2.5 hours that I can stream and work through this. What we want is for each platform to send their own plane. Otherwise, treat everything exactly the same, but only do it if the streamer sets a platform flag in their setup. So we'll assume that the flag is false unless they set it to true, and then everybody will just like collectively work together. But if they do set it to true, then each platform will basically send their own plane and so on. Okay, so restate everything. So each platform resolves to its own target. Yep. Plane flies for each distinct target cell. If Twitch and YouTube both resolve to the same cell, one plane flies. Yep. If it's a hit, every player on that platform whose target was that cell gets points. Yes. And on a mine, every player on every platform whose target was that cell loses points in extreme mode. Yep. On a miss, no points as of today. Yep. And then platforms whose target missed get no points that round. Only platform whose target hits actually score points. Yep. The last bullet is my inference. Confirm or correct. Do platforms whose shot missed still get points just for voting that round? If we're playing in platform mode, only the platform that hits a boat gets points. If the final result is a flawless victory, players on all platforms will share the bonus if they contributed the minimum amount of rounds to win. Cool. C Films, how's it going? Good to see you. Doing good over here. We're basically improving our battleship game. So I built in a lot of the feedback that we had on Thursday, and I basically came up with a new idea today because I got it working across both Twitch and YouTube. And it gave me an idea of what if we had each platform send their own plane. So we're basically working on that right now. Okay, so scoring, question 4. All right, left panel change. So the left panel change from top 10 to top 5 per platform. Let's do... Header strip showing each platform. Let's see, what should we do here? Wonder if we should just have like the top 3 per platform, because if the streamer's on 4 streaming platforms, we're not going to be able to do the top 5 on all 4 platforms. We'll need to adjust the number of players we list per platform if the streamer is on more than one platform. So let's do this. If one platform, top 10 players. If 2 platforms, top 5 players on each. If 3 or 4 platforms, We'll only show the top, show the top 3 players. Otherwise, let's see. Otherwise, draw it like option A. Cool. So that should give it all the direction it needs. And then it's basically, I'm just going to tell like, go ahead and change the code. And then we'll copy that code over and we'll see if it works. Which platform is winning by the boat hits? So recommendation is A for the boat cell hits. Yeah, we'll do A. So option A. Still going with questions. Question 6, multiple coordinates per player. If the player has multiple coordinates entered, do the same kind of coordinates scoring. Yes. Same thing as today. Yep, option A. So this is something that I've built into my agent. It's called grill me mode. And if I tell it like, hey, help me with this idea, you know, help me brainstorm, grill me, you know, whatever, it finds all those keywords and it goes into this like interview mode where it asks me a ton of questions to get lots of clarification. Then it knows exactly what to go build. There's a lot less hallucination and a lot less guessing about like what it's trying to do or why. And so it's basically just helping refine that idea like really, really granularly. So plane animation flying, all planes fly simultaneously, stagger simultaneously, but offset the flight paths. I want to do A. Let's do A, but only play one audio stream. We don't want the pilot message over and over. Okay, question 8. Which audio plays once multiple platforms fire? Oh, interesting. If any platforms hit a mine, then play the mine hit. If they hit a ship, play the ship. Else miss. It's dramatic. It signals the worst outcome. Yeah, I like A. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. If they all hit different things, like water, boat, or mine, which one do we give precedence to for the audio that gets played? Mine mute behavior across platforms. So only players on platform that hit the mine. Yeah, so we want option A. Again, so again in normal mode and extreme mode, if you participate in, you know, which coordinate gets fired upon and you hit a mine, then half of the people on that platform that contributed get muted. And it's not like a ban or anything like that. You're not actually muted. It just it's going to ignore any coordinates that you put in on the next round of play. And so it'll give everybody else a chance to kind of like, you know, maybe one up you in the leaderboards or things like that. Join overlay, which teams, with teams on, centered join to play. No, we'll keep that the same. Show the live platform counts, show separate, keep the join message as is on the screen and in chat. So we'll leave that one alone. We won't change anything there. And yeah, if you are on Twitch, we do have the stock game. You can do the points command or the holdings command to see how many points you have, and then you can buy and sell stock. I also want to make a change to the stock game where when you do holdings, it'll show you like your profit or loss based on when you bought them. The challenge there is we don't know what price you bought them at. So are you actually going to gain points or not? Don't know. So we might need a reset on the stock game. And I'll just give everybody like the maximum points or whatever for the stocks. I don't know. All right, question 11, setup argument. For the chat announcement at game start, should it mention the teams? So we'll say 11A, option A. It helps if you spell it right. The nice thing about LLMs is they actually don't care if you spell things wrong, but it will speed up how it responds and will respond more accurately if your spelling is correct. But LLMs are pretty good at seeing when you spell things incorrectly as well. Platform team's true, but only one platform is joined. We'll also say option A. So if only one team joins, it's effectively a classic game. So, yeah, kind of like the team mode anyway, because if somebody joins later, then it'll automatically do that anyway. So, now we'll do option B. As long as it can toggle over to the other one, I think it'll be fine. Although it's recommending A for both. Run as is, leaderboard adapts. Yeah, I mean, it's going to adapt anyway if there's only one platform playing, so it should be fine. More questions. All right. Platform joining mid-game. If a viewer from platform wasn't in the game at round 1, does join during round 5. Auto-register. No, we don't want to lock them out. They should be able to play right away. So they get a plane starting in round 6. Oh, if they're in... So if they join during round 5, they get a plane that round if the join is still open. So option B, and we'll fly a plane if they also enter a coordinate in time. Okay, set up our defaults. It should default to false. Yes. So 13A, default to false. Unless set to true. All right, 13B. When platform teams is true, but only one platform connected to Streamer.bot. Yeah, we just want to run normally. So 13B, we'll do option A. Yep. Anyway, part of knowing how to do like good vibe coding is understanding what you want better than the AI can actually build it, and being able to validate that what it's doing is correct. And so part of this grill me and you know, sort of question answer interview thing that it's doing with me right now is making sure that it knows exactly what I want. So there's no guesswork. It knows precisely what it is I want it to go do. And then it's more likely to succeed the first try. There was a talk that I gave about a year ago, actually a little over a year ago. It was, I think a year ago, March or April. I gave a talk and I called it vibe prompting. And, you know, this idea with vibe coding is you give AI a prompt and it does a thing, and then you keep constantly refining it. No, change the color to blue. No, make it do this, make it do that. But if you do vibe prompting where you say like, hey, like keep asking me questions about this thing. So now when I have a prompt, I can give that prompt to AI and it knows exactly what to go build. It's effectively what I've done here. This is help refining the idea so it knows exactly what to go build. All right, so section 1 overview. It's basically asking me to confirm everything. So each platform that has at least one join player runs the mode's targeting rule independently of its own players. Yep. Easy normal, per platform most voted. Yep. Same as today. Extreme mode, per platform average. Yep. One plane flies per distinct target cell. If multiple platforms resolve to the same cell, only one plane flies, everybody shares credit or penalty. Per player coordinate submission is unchanged. Yep. Game conditions are unchanged. Yep. Okay. All correct. How's the game coming along? I mean, it's going pretty well. I mean, the game works as it already stands. I'm basically just splitting it out into a per platform kind of mechanism. And it'll be something that the streamer can set or not. It'll be up to them. And then separately, I've got like another AI agent working on a different kind of game. And it's kind of a precursor to something that I've shown on stream before. Let me go find that. Where's my show on stream? So this is something that I've shown on the stream a couple of times, but this is basically going to be part of a game engine that I'm building where you can enter a latitude and longitude, and it'll basically figure out like wherever you are on that latitude and longitude, here's like a sector grid or something like that, or tile that you're going to be in. And then you'll have like all these other tiles kind of radiating out from your location that you can interact with. And it will allow game developers to build geographic-based games out in the real world. And they'll be able to have these sort of tiles be hexagons or diamonds. So here's what a diamond will look like. Actually, let me set that resolution a little higher here. So there's the diamond, and we can see that it'll radiate out like pretty far. And the reason that this looks like it's radiating out much farther is because from this inner row here, so from the location where you are, basically any of these diamonds that touch this inner diamond, including these ones here on the points down at the ends, it basically considers that this one is connected to this the same as this one is, because they're points here on these ends. These three are all touching this point of the red diamond. And so it considers all three of these as part of that initial ring around that diamond. And then same thing out here. It looks like we have multiple layers of diamonds connected. That's because this diamond is connected down on this point, and this diamond is connected down on this point, and so on. So like all three of these here are connected to this point of this diamond, that kind of thing. And so that's why it looks a little bigger, and then outward and so on. Or you can go into triangle mode. And it's doing the exact same thing where your location didn't change, but depending on the game developer, whether they want to do hexagons, diamonds, or triangles, you can basically have all these different sort of tiles and you can interact within that. So Spider-Man trailer totally spoiled something. I can't believe it's spoiled. I'll go check that out later. Hexagon-based map games, yeah, basically C-films, yeah. But you can also do diamonds or triangles, so it'll be up to the game developer which shape they want to do, and then the resolution of it as well. So at the highest resolution, when we come in and do a hexagon, we can see like, this big chunk of downtown New York is all in one hexagon. But if we go out one resolution layer and load that again, that location didn't change, but the hexagon got way bigger. And if we go out again, we'll see that it's going to get even bigger. So it used to be about this big. Now if we load that grid in, we see it's way bigger now. So what used to be just this little downtown kind of core has now become this much, much larger area. And so it'll give the game developer a little more freedom to how big they want their tile to be. And then we also have something that we call a rotation. So we can see like this is the latitude and longitude that I gave it, and we can kind of see it's over on this edge of the hexagon. But if we tell it that we want to run a rotated grid and load this again, we can see it's in a slightly different position. And so that's going to allow the developer to come in and set like a custom latitude and longitude that they want to build the grid around. And so that could be like their HQ or something like that. And it'll basically give them a unique map to where they're not sharing the exact same hexagon map as other games. So yeah, this is basically what I've been building on the side. Yeah, basically shape-based map game. You want to see something cool? Turned out great. You're getting samples. Awesome. So on Westery's channel last week, somebody came in, Zach M. Rutledge came into Westery's chat, and Westery said, "Hey, you want to see something cool?" And I basically took that and went and designed like a little picture of her dog Mia with a ball cap on backwards and glasses kind of down the nose a little bit, like, "Hey, you want to see something cool?" And sent it over to Westery, and Westery's like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Got to put it on shirts and hats and whatever." So getting samples already. That's pretty quick. So another AI agent I have, I'm basically, so the idea that I have for a game is a tile-based game like this, where you can interact with other tiles around you, but within your tile, you build up a base. And so if this is, let's say this is where you live and you happen to be in this tile, you build up a base, and now this whole sector, grid, tile, whatever they call it in the game, becomes that much stronger. And so then you can have like tile versus tile wars or whatever. And depending on where you are will depend on like which of these sectors you're going to be in and how you interact and whatever. So in this case, they're right on the edge of this thing. But if they walk like 2 or 3 blocks across lower Manhattan and now they're over here, now maybe they're like behind enemy lines or something and doing a thing. And so I'm basically working out a prototype right now for the base building portion of it, where it's going to be kind of an isometric view, and you kind of build up your base like you do in many other games. So that's something else that I've got kind of going on the side right now. So anyway, so there's that. All right, let's see, is this thing done? So at the end of the round, it's just asking for one more design check here. All planes fly simultaneously, each plane, blah, blah, blah. Audio plays once per round. Mine hit is greater than ship, greater than miss. Yep. Pilot voice lines do not stack. Yep. Each plane reports its cell on impact as of today. Yep. Chat announcements. Yep, that all looks good. Yeah, the geography game should be pretty interesting. I don't know how many game developers would actually use it, but I think having something where it's like tile versus tile, I think could be kind of interesting, or just interacting, with the world around you. There have been a lot of geography type games like Pokemon Go and Ingress and things like that made by Niantic Labs that have done a lot of location based things, for better or for worse. Some of them get really, really granular with where players are, and it has actually caused some negative player interaction where people get literally very territorial about things and like start hunting people down and like harassing them and stuff. And so I wanted those tiles to be big enough to where you don't know necessarily where the player is. And so in that particular scenario where, they were walking, over to lower Manhattan, like that still covers a lot of territory. They wouldn't know where you were because everything that you did just sort of happens in that tile. It's not happening at this exact location in your tile. It's just happening somewhere in your tile. And so you don't know where in this whole tile that person actually is playing the game. And that's going to cover a lot of area. And so part of building this out was player protection, where even at the smallest possible resolution, if we load this in and come down in here, like that's still a fair large amount of territory, even though a big chunk of it's over water in this case. But this still covers enough ground that you wouldn't reasonably be able to tell where a person was. Now, if if we see activity from the player in this sector and then we see activity over in this sector, chances are pretty good they're going to be like somewhere along this border, or maybe they're right here in the corner and they're literally just walking across the street over here and then walking across the street over here and then back again. Like, you won't know. Like, you have no idea where that person actually is going to be. And so I didn't want to do anything too fine resolution where you could literally target a player. I think that would be too dangerous. So that's something else that I'm kind of working on the side. So hopefully we'll see where that goes, whether that actually picks up as a business. So a colleague and I are working on building out a website right now for people to sign up to use this in their own game development. And then we'll kind of track it from there and see like if anybody actually starts building a game. But I've had an idea for building a game on this sort of mechanism for a really long time. Like, I want to say 14 years, maybe longer. I think 2007, I started coming up with the idea. In like 2011, started really solidifying it. 2012, I actually actively started doing some development on it. And then kind of put it away for like a decade. So I'm kind of at the point now where I'm like, you know what, AI is actually going to make this pretty feasible to go build. So yeah. All right, it's asking for one more design check. So on the hit cell, every player on the cell, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we already went over all of this. Only players on platform. Yes. Correct. All right, just go build the thing already. The only other thing I was thinking is that when a ship gets hit, that we would replace the red peg with the platform icon. I think that might be kind of neat in team mode. But if somebody joins after the fact, then we kind of have to change all the other pegs, which could get kind of messy. So I think we'll leave it as is for now. All right, more design. Miss, no points. Mine, extreme. Yep, platform totals. Yes, we've already seen that. Yes, ranked boat hits, yes. Yes. Yep. And then confirm the 5+ platforms cap. Top 2 each. Looks good. This is part of what's really important when you're working with AI, is that you're actually reviewing what it's doing instead of just like, yes, it's fine, just go build the thing. You actually have to review what it's actually going to do. Because in this case, it's actually finding like edge cases, like what happens in these kinds of scenarios? How do you actually want to handle this? Like if the platform teams is set to true, but only one platform actually connects, like, yes, we've already covered all this. Are there others? No, this was all we needed. All right, all questions answered. Time to write the design doc and then go commit and go build all the work. So it knows which files it needs to go modify. So this is good. Let's go build it, but don't commit the work when you're done. Basically what that will allow me to do is it'll allow me to see a list of the files that actually changed, so I know which files to go update in Streamer.bot. Cool, so it's going to go do the thing. I didn't see anything else in chat about career questions, but yeah, if anybody has career questions while this thing's like chugging away on code, happy to take questions, or if there are any resumes come in, let me go double check. No new resumes coming in. But if anybody has a resume they want reviewed, or if you've got interview questions, career questions, anything like that, more than happy to take those at any point while we work here. So Sunday night is predominantly career development night, interview prep, resume reviews, stuff like that. We're only doing Streamer.bot until questions come in. If we don't get questions come in, that's okay too. All right. So over on the coding side, so it basically did everything. It built itself a little to-do list. And so now the AI thing is just going to go and run and do its thing until all that work is finished. And if we go look at my total amount of spend and usage, I've used about 3.3% of my next 8-hour chunk. I've used 0.6 of my quota for the week. Last week I used almost all of my quota by Tuesday because I was hitting it pretty hard, working on a whole bunch of stuff. And then I kind of switched over to using my local AI stuff, which I would normally do overnight. But I forgot to switch one of the tasks I was doing to the overnight, like do it on my local AI machine. And I woke up the next morning to like a very small bill. I think I paid like an extra $10 or something. And they're like, by the way, you ran out of your quota. I'm like, what the heck? C-Film says, I've been practicing hybrid coding lately, a mix of manual coding, vibe coding. Yeah, I think it's good to do both because you still need to keep that skill sharp yourself. And you have to be smart enough to know that what the AI did was correct. So yeah, I think it's important to do both all the time. Westry1 says, I do need to go over my resume and format it as a social media manager type position, but need to actually work on the resume first before I send it to you. Fair enough. So if you follow my other advice, so typically what I recommend is make one really long document that I call a career achievement document, where you list out every job, every initiative that you took on, what you did as part of that initiative, and what impact it had, not just what you did. Because so many resumes I've reviewed over the years were like, I did a thing, I did a thing, I did a thing, I did a thing. But you need to explain on on that career achievement document, like why that mattered. Why did that matter to a particular company or business or outcome? Like, what was the point of doing it? And if you track it that way, now you've got this really big, long document that you can format like a resume. And then when you want to go apply for a job or you need a resume, you make a copy of that document and you trim away everything that doesn't matter for whatever role you're about to apply to. And trimming stuff back out of that document means that what you're showing them on that resume is the most relevant information. And then you become a much more desirable candidate because you're showing them what matters to them, not what matters to you. Need to add the impact? Yeah. And then from there, once you have that resume, then you can take that same resume and you can send it around to a bunch of places. But also the bullet points, you can also rearrange the order of those bullet points based on what matters to the company where you're applying. So if you had, I led a team and then I manually implemented this thing, that's great if they're looking for a team lead. But if they're looking for somebody who can be an individual contributor, you need to reverse those. So the individual contributor bullet point lists first. and then list what I did as a team lead. So that way they know that you can do things independently, but you also have skill leading a team or whatever. So the order that you list those bullet points can change from job to job. But once you kind of format that resume and say, okay, here's my social media manager resume, then you can send that around to a handful of places. But then the next time you need a resume, or anything happens at work, you go update the longer document. And then the next time you need another resume, don't use the old one and put that bullet point into it. Keep that other one separate. You've already used it. You've already applied using that resume. Go build a new one based on your long document. So you're always going to keep adding stuff to that long document and just continue to use that to build out other resumes. It'll make the process so much faster for you. And like I said, once you've built out a resume, or you know what you want to put in there as a social media manager, then you can kind of talk about the impact that it had, like saw this much growth on my channel, or, I did this thing for this company and it, grew their viewership by blah, blah, blah. It shows a lot more impact in that regard. So just keep constantly adding things to that achievement document. Remember that from working on my last one. So I wanted to build out another. So that's what I'm doing. Okay. Updating the long form one now, and then need to trim. Yeah. But make a copy of it and then trim it. Yeah. Don't trim the really long one and then like revert a change. That doesn't make sense, because then you're constantly like changing what's in that long document. Just keep the stuff in there as you figure out what you did, what mattered, why it mattered. Just keep all the stuff in the long doc. Yep. All right. Well, this thing's almost done. It's chunking through things pretty quickly here. So it's already redone a lot of this stuff. It's working on the JavaScript side of it now. And then it'll do the HTML and CSS, and then it'll do the README. And then it's just going to double check that everything's working properly with a JavaScript file. And so it's already done all the C# for Streamer.bot. So at this point, I could go update all those files in Streamer.bot. So I'm going to go do that. So I'm going to pull this off of here, and we're going to go back over to our actions view over here. And then I also need to remember, what did I call that thing? Was it platform teams? I think is what I called it. Just got to go find that in my document here. Yeah, platform teams. Okay, so I'm going to go over my Battleship game, go to my game setup. So we're basically adding another argument in here. So set an argument, and we're going to call it platform teams. I'm going to set mine to true by default. We need to make sure that that happens before we actually go run our code. And then I can go check to see which files actually changed. And then we can get an idea from there which files I need to copy over to Streamer.bot. I wish that Streamer.bot had a way of loading these files off of disk as opposed to having to copy the code into Streamer.bot. That would be way more efficient. But it is what it is. So let me just go back to where I have those files, Streamer.bot examples. Okay, so now I know exactly which files I need to go update. Let me go open my editor so I can actually grab those files to update. There it is. Okay, so we have Battleship Bomber Complete. All right, games, Battleship. Okay, so Bomber Complete had a change. And then we'll actually give it a try. Everything compiles okay, and then the browser reload, or the browser is loaded. We had a change in there. That one also compiles okay. Game setup. And then the tick. That was what, 5 files that I changed? 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that 3 or 4 that I changed? think I changed 4. Bomber complete, browser loaded, game setup, and the game tick. Yep. Okay. So that much should be done. We're basically just waiting on AI to go like finish the HTML and the JavaScript. So structure out the new code. Oh, gotta scroll way down here. Scroll, or hit the end button. There we go. Okay, so files changed. It gave me a list here. So we did the game setup. We did the game tick. We did the bomber complete and the browser loaded. And then it updated the JavaScript, the styling. I don't think it needed to change anything in the HTML file. 2 pre-existing modified files in your tree. Untouched, that's fine. Checked everything. Okay, so we think it's ready to go. Darth Gallum, good to see you. Going to have a purple plane for Twitch and a red one for YouTube. Oh, that'd be an interesting idea too. I wonder how well we can tint an image. Because part of what I was thinking on the game was, like, instead of the red peg when you hit a boat, is instead of putting the red peg on there, put the platform that actually hit that spot of the boat. The only problem would be is if multiple platforms hit that spot. Or what if only people on Twitch start playing and then somebody on YouTube starts playing later? If it's only one platform and we just put red pegs on and then somebody from another platform joins, do we change all the pegs based on what was there because somebody from another platform joined? That could get a little bit messy. So I'm just going to leave it as pegs for now, but coloring the planes differently would be interesting too. Yeah, that's interesting. We'll have to figure that one out. Let's try a game in easy mode. We have it set for a platform game. So we'll try an easy game. So go ahead and join the game if you want. I'm going to join the game over on YouTube as well.
Targeting systems active. Stand by.
So I'm going to join over on YouTube. I've also joined on Twitch, but if you all want to join over on Twitch, and if anybody also wants to play over on YouTube as well, just mute one platform or the other. But if you want to try it over there. How's Dead Meat? Welcome in. Just have a mouse over a list of people that have hit that peg. That would be interesting too. That would be a little harder to track, but because it's an OBS source, and so I don't really have an easy way for me to interact with this. There is a way if I've got OBS open and shown on my main screen, I can go into like an interact mode to hover over it. But right now, because it's part of the actual stream video going out, there's nothing really to hover over for it. But yeah, people will be able to join kind of after the fact as well. So, but yeah, that's an interesting thought. If it was more of a desktop game, it would be easier for sure. All right, so we're going to go ahead. I'm not sure why the timer got out of sync there, but we'll go ahead and we'll start putting in chat coordinates here. Ooh, okay, so that definitely broke on the left panel. So platforms teams thing 100% broke. It didn't keep the images transparent at all, and they are flipping enormous. All right, so we have B5. I'm also going to do C6. I'm going to change my vote to C6 for YouTube, just so it's a little bit different spot.
Roger, command.
Okay, so we went to C6 from YouTube and B5 from Twitch. Good thing the planes don't collide. Cool, we both missed. All right, so that's gonna finish the game way faster. I think that'll be way faster to play a game. What'll be interesting now is how we fix that left panel. So while you are all doing that, I'm going to tell it that the left panel is kind of jacked up. The left panel looks really bad. The images didn't maintain. Let's say the platform images didn't maintain their transparency, and they're gigantic. would probably be maybe 100 pixels at most. All right, so somebody hit something on E8.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1.
Yeah, this is going to be way faster, having a plane per platform. Ooh, all right. All right, so we'll do E7. All right, so E10 for Twitch, E7 for YouTube. Yeah, this is going to go much faster. We can do multiple shots now. All right, so we sunk the submarine.
Command,
all right.
Eagle 1. That ship is sunk. Returning to base.
Okay, so it's kind of working. The only thing we need to fix is that left panel. I told AI that the transparency didn't work. It claims the transparency is fine. The issue is that my Teams mode icons were rendering at full natural size, up to 7,000 pixels, because the existing 32 pixel rule only applied blah blah blah. It's now scoped at 48. Okay, that's fine. Reload the browser source to see the fix. I don't know if I can do that without breaking it, but I'm gonna try. So apologies in advance if this breaks the game. If it does, I'll just let's see. We need full screen game for
Eagle
Battleship.
1. Targeting systems active. Stand by.
Once this one finishes, I'm just going to try reloading. No, it totally broke the game. Everything's hidden. Okay, so we'll end the game. We'll just start a new game.
Command, this is Eagle 1.
Everything was like crowded up top and down bottom right quadrants.
Game over.
Interesting. All right, we will we'll give this another shot here. I gotta go. Actually, do need to go take care of something. So, I'm still here, but I'm just gonna be off to the side for it.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by.
What happened to the music? Oh, the music's still good. Okay. Let's do another game, shall we? We'll see whether it fixes the panel over here on the left. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with the join to play 0 thing lingering for so long, but all right, let's try a quick coordinate check here. Did anybody else join to play? Outcast of Wonder, good to see you. Welcome in. Hey, there we go. All right, so Twitch has entered one coordinate, YouTube has entered a coordinate, and it's giving us the top players per platform. So, sweet. All right, so that kind of works. Anybody else can join at any time and get a coordinate in. And then it should send one plane per platform.
Targeting systems active. Stand by.
Yeah. Oh, you hit a mine. Oh, wait, I started a normal game. I got muted. my YouTube player got muted for a round. That's funny. Everybody else is okay. But if I'm over here on YouTube and I try to enter other coordinates like A1, it doesn't show up on the map at all. So I'm like spamming A1 like crazy over on YouTube and nothing is happening for all of you on Twitch. Because it's just going to completely ignore my input until this next round happens. So in this case, only Twitch is sending a plane. Now you got me thinking of like, could we color the plane based on the platform? That would be interesting. So it would be purple for Twitch, red for YouTube, green for Kick. But I think Trovo is also green. So we'd have to figure out something else there. Like how would we differentiate Kick from Trovo? All right, looks like I'm back on YouTube. So I'm going to enter A1. There it is. Okay, so I'm back on YouTube. So yeah, so in this case, we do have mines. And if you hit a mine, so collectively, whichever platform hits a mine, half of the players that entered a coordinate at all on that platform, half of those people get muted for the following round. Trovo is another streaming platform. I've never used it. I've used Kick and I've used YouTube and Twitch, obviously. I was only on Kick for a little while. Barely had any people follow on Kick. I think GBAV had more luck on Twitch or on Kick than I did. All right, so we got a handful of things coming in here. Got an H2. Okay. I see Darth Golem's sort of pattern going every other row. If you go every fourth cell, you're guaranteed to hit every boat 3 spaces or bigger. So like if we do A1, A4, A7, A10, and then B2, B5, B8, and then C3, C6, C9, we're guaranteed to hit all but the destroyers. But the probability that you're going to hit the destroyer is also very good if you completely fill that out. If you do every other row like Darth Golem is doing, it takes a lot longer. So yeah, just food for thought there. All right, Darth Golem's also playing over on YouTube, it looks like. Yeah, there you are. Welcome over there too. Thanks for playing. Thanks for helping try this out. So yeah, so let's continue to do A4 over there. I'm going to join over here in case I didn't already. And I'm going to do an A7 over here.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by.
Okay, I'll let you all play. I got to take care of something on my work laptop.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by. Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by. Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active.
How's the game going?
Stand by.
All right, you almost sunk a boat. Oh, someone else hit a mine. Figured that would add an extra level of challenge. I do need to take care of something at work for probably about 10 minutes, so I will be around. Continue to play. I'll join in as I can.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by. Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by.
All right, I gotta wait for something to process for a minute. All right, we got the carrier.
Command, Eagle 1. That ship is sunk. Returning to base.
Now, is the other one kind of along parallel of the crew or the carrier, or is it vertical to the carrier?
Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by. Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by. Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by. Command, Eagle 1. That ship is sunk. Returning to base. Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by. Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by. Roger,
Hey everybody,
Command.
I need just a couple more
Eagle
minutes.
1.
I'll be here. I'll be back in a few moments.
Stand by. Command, Eagle 1. That ship is sunk. Returning to base. Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by. Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by.
Okay, I think I'm back for a minute. How we doing?
Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by.
Yeah, this is way faster to finish up a game for sure, having multiple planes. Oh, someone hit another mine. Oh, Darth Gollum gets timed out. All right, let's do G1. So the other thing I'm thinking is, could I have like a channel point reward to give somebody their own plane? Like for 1,000 channel points, you get your own plane, you know? So whatever coordinate you put in for the next round or something like that, you get to choose whichever coordinate you want,
Roger,
and you
Command.
get your own little
Eagle 1.
custom plane.
Targeting systems
Maybe it shows up
active.
as like a,
Stand by.
small little fighter jet or something zooming in just for your coordinate or something. That could be kind of interesting too. Did I write this on stream? Was it based on something already? 100% wrote this. Most of it off stream, but been refining it on stream. I debuted it on Thursday. Basically built it after Sunday's stream last week. I started building a battleship in the evenings, and then kind of showed everybody Thursday, got some feedback, refined it over the weekend, and then tonight I had the idea of like, hey, what if we do this multi-platform thing where like each platform sends a plane? So I vibe coded that here on stream. It only took a couple of minutes.
Roger, Command.
How long did it take to make?
Eagle 1.
Probably,
Targeting systems active. Stand by.
let's say like maybe 10 hours total. Wasn't very long. I think one of the longest parts of it was actually finding like the sprite images. Yeah, AI generated images were not good. It was able to do like the pegs because those are pretty simple, just little peg looking things. But, trying to come up with the bomber and the ships and things like that were pretty hard. So I found someone else's image assets for the boats. And I just iterated like over and over and over again. I think I finally went to like ChatGPT or something to generate the bomber. Because what the AI generated ones was trying to make just looked really, really awful. So, all right, well, we're gradually honing in. I think we need to do like a C8 or 9 or something to close up that. Let's do like C9 maybe. Oops. I think we need to close up that that location over here, just to make sure there's not like another three-piece boat hiding in there. And then we should do like an E10 or something like that, just to close up that one. Then we could probably do like F9. So we can space these out like every 2 spaces now to kind of hone in on where the remaining chips are. Like if we do E6 and then H6, we'll make sure that there's no 3-boat hiding anywhere on those spots. Oh, we found one. Hey. All right, so let's go for D9. We sunk the battleship already. So D9 is probably going to finish off either the cruiser or the submarine. Unless they both happen to be like stacked up with that one space in between where D9 is like the space in between them. But I think we'll find out after this shot. So yeah, now you get me thinking of like doing a channel point reward to get your own fighter jet. I mean, that could be kind of fun. I'm also looking for ideas on other board games like this that we could make like a collective type of game. All right.
Command,
We got that one out. So now we just have the submarine. All right, where's that submarine hiding? Let's see, it could be, I think if we do J3, we could do E6 or H6. I think any of these are going to be good options to try to track that thing down. Because there aren't many places left. So another idea that I had was like kind of a game hack of like, technically a submarine is under the water. So could it overlap underneath another boat, since it's underwater? I know it kind of breaks the spirit of the game, but...
Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active.
Another idea that we talked about on Thursday was having like some sort of anti-air setup where, for example, if there was still an active ship on the map, that it could try to shoot down your bomber before it got to a spot that it knew you were going to hit. So could we put some intelligence in the game to like defend itself? That could be kind of interesting too. All right, C-Film's dropping in just tons of coordinates here.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by.
Kind of like the idea of a sonar buoy that clears 9 squares to see them. Ooh, that'd be an interesting one too. Drop a sonar. 1 ping only. That could be interesting. How long would it last though? And what happens if you drop a sonar buoy on a boat? Have the sonar buoy with channel points, maybe, yeah. 10,000 points, maybe.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1.
I mean, it would depend. I mean, that would be something that I would allow the streamer to configure. Oh, we hit a mine and a boat. All right, so pretty sure it's going to be parallel to the cruiser there, or to the carrier. But somebody got timed out. C-Films got timed out. All right, so it's going to be either E5 or E8 or E7, yeah. Those are both going to be good shots. We'll do E5 over here on the YouTubes. Yeah, that would be interesting. Having a sonar buoy.
Roger, command. Eagle 1.
Do we
Targeting
let the game pick where the buoy goes, or do we drop it at whatever coordinate? All right, I love taking it all in one shot like that. That was great.
Returning to base.
And then we get the finale.
Command, this is Eagle 1. All ships are sunk. I say again, all ships are sunk. Game over.
All right, good job, everybody. So yeah, so there's definitely a handful of things that we could continue to sort of iterate on. This is also why I make the game open source. So like if you want to program and do some of this yourself, more than welcome to. Death Golem, thanks for hanging out tonight. Good to see you. Is that we could let a streamer go do their own thing, like however they want to go do this thing themselves would be interesting. The buoy could be dropped by the game at a random place. It would allow for speeding up the dead space clearance. Yeah, for sure. So another game idea that I had was actually a Minesweeper game, where we also do something similar. Because in Minesweeper, if you hit a clear spot, it like reveals a whole chunk of the map with any other open spots. But then collectively as chat, you could go in and try to figure out, do we flag a spot or do we reveal a spot? That could be kind of fun and chaotic as well. I'm still trying to think of some of the logistics of how that would play out as a Minesweeper type of game. But yeah, that could be interesting too. So throw some ideas in chat for something like, well, I mean, let's keep riffing on this because I kind of like that sonar buoy kind of idea. It could be dropped by the game. Why not have both sides in Battleship? Oh, that would be interesting too. Like if the streamer was on two platforms. Well, the problem there is. Oh wait, I think I see what you're. I think I see where you're going with this. Like where each platform, like the game would hide boats for each platform, and the platform players would play against each other. Or you hit join, it would select one side for you. So part of it is, do you get to pick where the boats are? Or does the game pick where the boats are and it hides it from everybody? In which case it could be like, have the YouTube players on one side, Twitch players on the other side, and whichever team figures out their board the fastest wins. Game hides it for everyone. Okay. Keep riffing on this because I love ideas like this. Okay. And the music went away. We will continue with the music. So your goal is to attack the enemy fleet, but you could have channel points that could do CAP flights or something that shoot down the bombers. What's a CAP flight? I'm not familiar with the term. I do like the idea of having channel point redeems interact with the game, or even bit redeems. Some streamers want to do things with bit redeems. It's a little harder to do with Twitch though, and so the Twitch players would have an advantage over YouTube, unless the YouTube players start like tipping, and that could start getting expensive, which some people are going to be okay with, but some people are not going to contribute. where channel points are effectively free. This is also part of why I'm doing like a custom points kind of thing. So if you do exclamation point points, it'll show you how many points my platform is giving you. We could maybe redeem those points. And so the longer you're on a platform, the more of these points you get. Every time you hit a boat, you gain points. So yeah, like OzDeadMeat already has 1,170 points. What if you could spend 1,000 of those points on a sonar buoy? You're rich. You're rich, are you? So I've got I don't know, 600,000 or 700,000 points worth between raw points and stock holdings on Twitch. But yeah, that's some fancy hat points. Yep. So we do have the option of spending those points, which I think would be better for a lot of platforms. Not that I'm against people spending on platforms, but I think you hit a wall where people don't always want to spend money on like free live stream kinds of things. They certainly want to support the streamer and things like that. So I think it would be up to the streamer, like whether they want to use like the game points or whether they want to do bits or channel points or something like that. That starts to get a little trickier to implement as far as like how to reduce the points or whatever, or whatnot. I mean, it really, at the end of the day, it's just a trigger in Streamer.bot. You know, am I doing like a trigger command where I'm saying like buy a sonar buoy, or am I doing a channel point redeem for it, or am I doing a bit redeem? And that, you know, we put something in there that says if somebody contributes 100 bits, it gives them a sonar buoy. Keep it simple, just do basic points. Yeah. I mean, I like the idea though. I like the idea of having, especially the custom fighter jet, like have your own fighter jet kind of thing, where it's like, if you have enough points, like you want to drop 100,000 points, you can have your own jet for the whole game. And then you can type in whatever coordinate you want, and it's always going to fire on that coordinate, no matter what. You know, that could be kind of an interesting thing too. I'm trying to think of like other things we could implement like that. The sonar buoy is a good idea. Having a solo jet could be good too. Yeah, those are all interesting ideas. The extreme game gets a little harder because in the extreme game you've got way more mines than you do in normal mode. Let me go back over to my game setup here for a second. So right now, if you hit a mine, you lose 500 points. If you hit a boat, you gain 500 points. But if you hit a mine, you lose 500. And there are 3 times as many mines as there are spaces for the ships to actually hit. So there are 17 spaces that you can hit a boat. So I should probably reduce this to like 100 point penalty or something like that. But we can try an extreme game if you want to try an extreme game for a minute. Hey, X, good to see you. Welcome in. Let's, you're no coder, but you do dabble. Having an accuracy bonus, if you're over 80% accuracy, your guess is...
Stand by.
You could have your own solo jet. That would be interesting too. That would mean a lot more like ranking and so on. So this game's going to be a lot harder. We can see we got a lot more mines that we need to try to hit, or that we should not try to hit. I'm going to join over here on YouTube again. Yeah, having like a ratio thing though means that we need to track a lot more about you as a player. And that would be up to the streamer, like how much data they want to do, whether they even want to do that and build that into the game. Like I kind of like the idea now of like game extensions where, you know, you've got the core game. Now you can do the multi-platform thing. Now you can do like all these extra custom add-ons. I don't know why this thing comes up with a join to play when there's still like 10 seconds left. So we'll have to have the thing figure out the timing on that one. All right, so now we can throw some timings in here. Also, we have less time for some reason. I thought I fixed that. Round seconds should be more. We should have 30 seconds to play.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active.
It's just a token. Stores your score against your Twitch OAuth or something. We wouldn't even need to do it from that perspective. We can just track. We can just track things within the game. That's easy enough to do. That actually wouldn't be that hard to do.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand
Yeah, that was a
by.
lucky first guess for sure. Especially now that there are 51 mines on the board. Oh, somebody got timed out. Oh, C-Films got timed out.
Command, this is Eagle 1. We didn't get any coordinates. Transmit again. Over.
So this is another problem that we're having. Extreme mode, for some reason, is cutting our timer in half. Let me go see if I can change that to be longer. It's Battleship game. Got the grid size. Where's the timer? Join seconds.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1.
Where's my
Targeting systems active. Stand by.
number of seconds per round? There it is. All right, I've reset that to 30, so it should give us 30 seconds to play now. There we go. So H10. So having a solo jet, I think we would probably want to limit that too. Like we probably wouldn't want more than like 2 or 3 solo jets per game. Because otherwise it could get really crowded. If a lot of people have a lot of channel points, it could get
Roger, Command.
pretty chaotic.
Eagle 1.
You need grid lines, it's hard to see.
Stand
Yeah,
by.
fair enough. I mean, you can see it with the water, but not with the fog. Oh, someone else had a mine. It was probably me. Yep. Yeah, good call on the grid lines. Let's actually go add that. I'm going to end the game here. Let's go add that in.
This is Eagle 1. We've lost
So you
Earth.
can also see in extreme mode, the game
over.
tends to stack the mines close to the ships. So anything around that submarine would have been absolute chaos, as well as the destroyer would have been really, really hard to kind of get through. Yeah, so there are a couple of things I need to fix here about extreme mode. So 2 more changes. In extreme mode, don't cut the round timer in half. Keep it the same as easy normal. Secondly, we want to see a more prominent grid line overlay over the fog cloud, as it's harder to see coordinate. It's harder to realize coordinates. Okay, so we'll have to do that. So there'd be 1 small change in C# and then 1 small change, I think, on the HTML side. Is there a Git repo for the code base? Absolutely, yeah. I will add it here. And I'm also happy to take pull requests as well. So feel free to make a pull request if you find something you'd like to tweak or change or add to it or whatever. 7-year-old is interested in making games. It looks like it could be fun to tweak. Yeah, absolutely. Knock yourself out. The caveat is you'll need OBS, you'll need Streamer.bot, because that's what all this stuff is kind of based on. And then there's a DLL file that I produce as part of the code base that has a lot of like, here's how to transmit messages to chat. Here's how to do logging. Here's how to look at the media files like MP3 files to figure out how long to play them and stuff like that. So you need the DLL file in there as well. Yeah, it's all based on Streamer.bot. So it's like everything that, you know, it's called Streamer.bot examples. So it's all interaction with Streamer.bot. But like I said, happy to take Happy to take pull requests and any kind of input and feedback and stuff at any time on this stuff. I'm 100% always open to feedback and ideas. I really like that Sonar Buoy idea. I'm just trying to think of how we would get the game to randomly place a sonar buoy, what it might look like, and what happens if a sonar buoy hits a boat. Like, do we make the game pick a spot that it knows is water and that hasn't already been fired on and missed? So it has to be like an open spot of water, and it's just going to reveal, like wherever it lands, it's going to reveal the 8 squares around it, maybe. If it hits a boat, it just shows what's there. Yeah, maybe. So there's Streamer.bot conf that it will load it all in. There's not right now, no. But there's a README for each of the folders for each of the games that tells you like what you need to set up and how. There's a way in Streamer.bot where you can go in and say like, take my exact snapshot and like export it as a really long encoded string, and then you just import that string and it brings everything in. But I do it as just a straight C# code repo kind of thing, just so you can see exactly what's there. Because if you import that other string, then you've got to kind of go through everything and examine what it's doing, and it's not always super clear like that I'm not doing something shady. So it's also partly why I open source everything. So you can see I'm not doing anything shady. You can compile it all yourself, do it all yourself, but also look through the game logic of like what's happening and when and where and why and how and things like that. Shady me? Nah. I mean, I try not to be. No, everything I do, I try to be like really high integrity on it, and be open source with what I do. I learn in public and I share all the code that I build with people, just so you can tinker with it. Yeah. You want to tinker on it, learn what I did and how I did, knock yourself out. Happy to do it. Yeah, I think if the Sonar Buoy, well, I think the problem we might end up with here, Oz, is if you buy a sonar buoy, if you do it as like a channel point redeem or as a bit redeem, you could enter a coordinate where you want to drop it. If you just buy it with points, I don't really have a way to buy inventory items in my Streamer.bot setup. So we'd have to figure out what that chat command would look like that says like, hey, I want to go spend like these like the game currency, whatever they call it. Because the streamer can call it points or gems or whatever they want to call it. That we would need a command for you to buy an item, but also enter a coordinate where you want it dropped. Where with a bit redeem, you would say like cheer 500 and then a coordinate or something, and that would be your chat command where it would do the cheer and take your coordinate at the same time. Or on a channel point redeem, you can say this channel point redeem needs input from the user, and that input would be the coordinate, and that's where it's going to drop the thing. But then do we fly an extra plane in just for that? Or does that become a vote? I mean, we should always place it if you're going to spend currency or something on it, especially if it's real currency. I would absolutely feel obliged to put it on the map for you. Buy a buoy, maybe. You work in cybersecurity's GRC, not as technical as it used to be. Okay, gotcha. Have it as a once off and the game will place it randomly. I mean, I like the idea of placing it randomly where, you do a channel point redeem, you do a bit redeem, you buy the thing and it just randomly figures out a spot of water to put it in. But the player is going to feel a little bit underwhelmed if it's like up in a top corner and it's already like a bunch of misses around it, but there's that one spot of water and the game's like, oh, here's a spot of water right here. Like we'd almost have to have the game figure out like, where could it drop it on a spot of water that would reveal something, like reveal a mine or reveal a piece of the ship or something. So we would have to be like really intentional about like find a piece of water near a boat, like within one block of a boat or within one block of a mine, and drop the buoy there so you know that there's something there. And then everybody knows to avoid the mine or to fire at the boat or something like that. You do a heat map on where the shots have been fired. Minion. What's all this then? Yeah, it's to help accelerate the game. I get that. I'm just trying to think of the logistics of how do we actually get that stuff to show up on the map, or how do we tell the game to put it in there, or to even make that something that the streamer knows that they have to go build in as part of the construction of the game. Because there are several things that they have to do simultaneously. They have to add it to the game so the game knows what to go do. And then they need to add it as a channel point redemption or as a bit redeem or something like that, so that the game knows that this has to happen in, in the next round, that a buoy needs to be placed, or that, that somebody bought the thing at least. I do also kind of like the idea of letting people just buy inventory, similar to the stock game, where you can say, like, how many points have I got? What can I buy? Do like an exclamation point store or something like that, and then say, okay, well, for each of the games, here's some things you can do. Like the higher lower game, maybe it'll give you a hint around, like, approximately where is the number. Is there a way that we can narrow down that number a little bit more by somebody redeeming a channel point redeem or something like that? That could be kind of interesting too. So having a store where we have like an inventory of things that people can buy, and then within the game, you can just do like exclamation point buoy or something like that, and it'll just go do the thing. I'd have to figure that one out. So that's an interesting concept. Sorry, I just need to double check one last thing at work, and then I'm done. Log me into that. Sorry, looking at my work laptop, it just logged me out of like everything. Okay, I think I'm good. Sorry, had some weirdness going on my work laptop, but it seems to be resolved. I think limiting the usage of the game currently being played would need to happen. Over time, people would just be able to collect a bunch of inventory. Maybe. I mean, that's also the point of having points and whatever, is that you want to be able to spend them and use them how you like. Oh, good. We're getting some rain this week. It's been crazy hot in Denver, like 100 degrees the last couple of days. Deploy buoy or deploy CAP would be better. Oz, remind me what CAP actually stands for. I'm curious. I don't think I've heard that term. But yeah, I was also thinking in extreme mode, it would be interesting if the enemy could fire back and like maybe shoot down a plane. Instead of like before it can drop the bomb, or, it fires at the plane, it fires at the bomber. And so the bomber has to, deploy its payload early or something. Potentially maybe hitting something else. Combat air patrol, basically fighter jet defense for fleet. Okay. It would be interesting. Yeah. So Let me finish this up here real quick because I got placed. I mean, none of this changes. Board appears OBS. Yes. Okay, so should be done. I need to double check which file changed, if any. Oh, which file changed? Looks like the game setup. Okay, so I need to go update the game setup. Let's see, where's my editor? Game setup. I'm kind of thinking the CAP would make sense if it was like a head-to-head kind of game. So hear me out on this. You got Twitch playing on their board, you got YouTube playing on their board, but you don't know where each other's things are, but you do know that you want to protect your board from the other platform. So then you could deploy like sort of defense measures against the other platform's plane coming in. And if it's successful, maybe it's a dice roll or something. If it's successful, and then the other team could employ like a stealth kind of thing. So your anti-aircraft thing is more likely to miss if they also deploy stealth or something. Like you could get into ridiculous stuff for sure. I'm doing the good idea fairy thing. It's all good. No, I love AWACS and things like that. Specifically for your carrier. So I like the idea of one of the ships being like an anti-aircraft kind of thing. Like if the destroyer, let's say the battleship would be your anti-aircraft. So if the other team sinks your battleship, then you can't deploy anti-aircraft stuff because your battleship is already sunk. Things like that would be kind of interesting. Yeah, we're serious meta for sure. If your carrier's lost, your destroyer could have its SAM radar turned on instead. Maybe. Although, if you had combat air patrol taking off from your carrier and your carrier hasn't been hit yet, would that not reveal your location because now these little jets are going to like swoop in from a coordinate? Now you know that the carrier is in that region or that quadrant at least, and the little jet flew in from this part of the map, so we know we need to keep hitting this area of the map because that's where the carrier probably is. You could get into some really interesting game mechanics on that one. I think at a minimum, coming up with ideas like the buoy and things like that, it's a really interesting idea. I'm not opposed. I think it's going to be a little harder to implement and keep track of from the streamer's point of view as to how complicated the game is and how complicated they want the game to be. Like if I do an easy mode game, maybe we shouldn't allow for any of that. If I do a normal game, we can do the sonar buoy. And if we do the extreme one, then we can do like the extra like stealth, stuff like that. But those could also just be like random power-ups. Like you hit a boat and your next bomber gets stealthed no matter what, because you hit the boat or something like that. Those extra bits as options. Yeah, so right now the way that I have it configured, let me switch back over to this, is when you do the game setup, these are all just arguments in Streamer.bot. So this tells it like the OBS scene to activate. This is the timer for like when the game actually needs to do things. How many seconds are in a round. This one's actually not used anymore, I don't think. What do we call the points, currency or whatever? If you hit the ship in easy mode, you get 100 points, 250 in normal, 500 points in extreme. You lose 100 points if you hit a mine in extreme mode. If you get a flawless victory where you sink all of the boats without hitting any mines, you get bonus points. To start adding all these other things, we end up making this really complicated list in here. Plus, they also have to go set up like channel point redeems and bit redeems and things like that. Which can be a little bit harder. And then the game has to be aware that that channel point redeem exists. So in here, you'd have to give it like, here's the name of the channel point redeem to watch out for. And then that would have to be a trigger like on the game. So like when the player enters a coordinate, it's watching for, in normal mode or extreme mode, it's watching for the format of a coordinate message coming in. And then it's only paying attention to players who actually join the game and so on. It can be kind of convoluted that now we would also have to pay attention to like a channel point redeem or a bit redeem that matches the right amount and so on. It could be a little trickier. It's not going to be as dynamic as you might think. There's a lot more like manual effort that would have to go into like setting that up and maintaining it. But yeah, I mean, by all means, grab a copy of the game and make it your own. Happy to share this stuff out. This is why I make it, and this is why I do it on stream and let everybody just kind of hack at it and tweak at it and make it your own. But I really like the idea now of a head-to-head game, but that's only if the streamer's on 2 platforms. What happens if the streamer's also on Kick and or Trovo? These are just API calls. It's not as easy as an API call, unfortunately. Streamer.bot is event-driven. It's not really like a specific API call that gets made. Within Streamer.bot, there are API calls. There's software API calls that say like, here's a message to go send a chat kind of thing. That's an API call, but it's like an internal API call, but then it'll go out to whatever platform and it'll do whatever that third-party API call is to actually like go send this chat message to YouTube or go send this chat message to Twitch on their servers and whatnot. So yeah, it's not as easy as like a RESTful API call, unfortunately. Don't do a platform v platform, just do red or blue. Okay. That way you're not alienating community based on numbers. That's true. That's a good point. Yeah. I like the head-to-head idea. I'm going to noodle on that one this week and see what I can come up with for a head-to-head mode. I think that could be an interesting one too. Yeah, that would be interesting. I've got so many ideas now bouncing in my head. I almost wonder too if the coordinate that the team enters, that they could start with a sonar buoy of some kind. I also like the idea of like an expanding ping. Like if I drop a sonar buoy at A1 and it just continues to radiate out every round, it gets a little bigger, gets a little bigger, and gets a little bigger, and gets a little bigger. That maybe it doesn't just show like the 8 squares around it. Maybe, over the next couple of rounds, it'll expand out a ring, and over the next couple of rounds, it'll expand out a ring. So maybe not every single round it expands, but like if you drop it right in the center, maybe within, 20 or 30 rounds, it will have exposed the whole area or something like that. Or do it a couple of times, maybe, yeah. That would be kind of interesting, although that's pretty much a guaranteed move in a head-to-head, is you're always going to drop the sonar buoy right in the middle of the screen to start out with. But that could be an interesting mechanic in the head-to-head mode. Is the first thing that happens, like while people are joining, is you see the jets kind of fly over and they drop a sonar buoy just to get the game started. It picks a random spot on its own in water. Maybe the game will know like it's a section of water where there's no mines or no ship, and so it'll expose those 9 squares where it knows there's going to be nothing there, and then just starts radiating out from there. That could be kind of interesting too. Or maybe just find any random spot of water and just start expanding out from there. The downside is if it drops it too close to an edge, you're losing the effect. You're only getting like half of the effect of the sonar buoys if you dropped it in the middle. So we'd have to figure out something there depending on the mode of the game and how big the grid is for like where to drop it. Like it needs to drop it somewhere in the middle-ish of the grid. Yeah, I'm going to noodle on the head-to-head mode because I think that could be really, really interesting. And then everybody that joins, they just get added to a team, and then maybe if there's like the teams end up lopsided, like you know, one team's going to have one extra player than another team. Maybe the team that doesn't have the extra player, maybe they get some kind of bonus or something. I don't know. We'll figure that out. I mean, if it's like 2 players versus 1 player, that would feel a little more extreme, but oh, the other thing that you didn't see, let's start a new extreme mode game, because how the extreme mode game plays is very different. So go ahead and join this game.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1.
Basically, what's going to happen here is when we all enter a coordinate, instead of all of them showing up and then it figures out which one, and we see the grid on the thing now, it's much easier to see. When you enter the coordinates, it's not going to drop a reticle on each spot. What it's going to do now is it's going to take all of the coordinates that we enter and it's going to average them out. So if I enter A1 and Oz enters O15, it's going to average out to like somewhere in the HI, somewhere in the 8 or 9 kind of thing. So it's going to average out the coordinates and it's going to place it there. And so you'll see the reticle kind of move around the map as we enter coordinates in here. Yeah. So this is the chaos mode. So this is actually some feedback I got on Thursday, because originally I had this averaging mechanism on all of the game modes. And the feedback that we got on Thursday was, that sucks. Because now you could end up firing on a spot that you didn't want to fire on. And at the time, I'm like, well, but if you can enter the same coordinate over and over again, then it won't matter. So I type in A5. So Oz put in H7. Oh, wait, it didn't do it. It didn't do it. It was supposed to average these out in extreme mode. Good to see, X. Happy lurking. Okay, so that broke in extreme mode. All right, we're going to need to go fix that. So it was supposed to average these out in extreme mode. In extreme mode.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active.
Players on
Stand by.
one platform should have... Oh, wait, it did average them out. We just didn't see the reticle average them out. Interesting. Okay, so it did average them. We just didn't see where the average was going to happen. Should have their coordinates averaged, which works when dropping the bomb. But the reticle should be showing the average. Not the individual.
Command, this is Eagle 1. We didn't get any coordinates.
Okay, so we'll work on
Transmit
fixing that
again.
one.
Over.
You need triangulation effect or something. Yeah, normally it would. So normally, like if I typed A1 and, you know, it would start the crosshairs there. And then if you typed O15, you would see the reticle actually move down to the middle of the screen, because that would be like that new average position. So right now, the average is going to probably come out to like I5 or maybe J5, somewhere in there, based on how we've got things in here. I'm going to guess it's like I5 or J5.
Roger, Command.
I5.
Eagle
Yeah,
1.
called it. But we should have seen the reticle like move to that point. So instead of showing all the individual points, it should have just shown where the average is. All right. So AI is thinking on it. This should just be a JavaScript only fix. So we shouldn't have to change any C# on this. So I'm going to go ahead and end the game. This is brutal. I know. It gets way, way harder. But like this would be a good time for people in chat to be like, hey, let's focus on that upper left quadrant or something. But it does make it way more chaotic for sure. Especially since somebody can also, well, if you're a mod
Roger, Command.
or the streamer, you can type in something over and over and over again and weight that average where regular viewers cannot. All right, well, we hit something up in A1 anyway. So regularly on Twitch, you can only put in a coordinate every 30 seconds. You can do multiple votes across the screen. If you really want the same position, you can do like A2, and then you can do capital A2, and then you can do like lowercase a space 2, and then like capital A space 2, because those are all considered unique messages. But yes, you can still do multiple votes, and it's just, it'll skew your average. Yeah, I'm waiting on the thing to update here. Okay, so that should be changed. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end this game, and we'll try it again.
Command, this is Eagle 1. We've lost, sir.
Oh, and it didn't reveal the game
over.
either when we ended it. So in extreme mode, when the streamer ends the game early, you need to reveal the map. That doesn't happen right now either. So again, that should just be a JavaScript thing when I end the game. We're going to try it again just to see whether these fixes actually update. So yeah, it found a bug. It's going to double check all that. It's trying to patch the code right now. Okay, so that says okay. It says it's fixed. All right, so let's try another one in extreme mode. So go ahead and join this one again.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by.
This one should do the averaging. We should see the reticle kind of move across the screen as we all enter coordinates. So once we all finish joining, then we should have, we should see that reticle move around the screen as we do the average. Now, if I join on YouTube, we should end up seeing 2 reticles, I think, because we're in platform team mode. So I'm curious now. So I'm going to do A1 just for the heck of it here as soon as this starts up. And I'll fix the join to play thing as well, because that's showing up way earlier. So I'm going to enter A1 as a coordinate. So if somebody wants to do a different coordinate, we should see multiple reticles show up on the screen. I'm also going to do A15 from YouTube. Oh, it even colored them differently. So now we can see where the average one is for Twitch and which one is for YouTube based on the color. It should have drawn the lines, like the full lines need to be in there too.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by.
That was kind of cool that it did that. We both missed. All right. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and end this one here. So there it exposed the map. Okay, so now we can see where all the mines were and stuff too.
Game over.
Okay, so we fixed some bugs. There's still one more where when we average it out, I want the reticle to draw the full line on there as well. So that way we can see a little bit better like what that coordinate is. So we'll go do that one real quick. That should also be just a JavaScript or HTML change, nothing in the code. And then I'm going to get all this code pushed up as well. So yeah, Oz, this is what I've loved doing in between, answering occasional like career questions and stuff for folks. I love just building fun little chat games and stuff like this. I'm also I'm looking for other ideas of like other board games that we could do that would be similar, like a similar head-to-head kind of thing, where we can have something visual on the screen that chat can interact with and stuff like that. I don't want to like rebuild, Words with Friends or anything like that, but I got a great idea. Yeah, bring it. Happy to hear it. If you just want to share it more privately, you can connect with me on Discord. I've got a Discord community, but that'll show you like my username and stuff like that if you want to go check that out. Pro Evils, welcome in. I have a suggestion that may expand your horizon. By all means, bring it. Drop it in chat. Let me know what you got. I'm always happy to take game ideas and stuff like that. If you want to share it publicly, if not, connect with me on Discord. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn at any time as well. Primarily Sundays, I'm doing like career advice and resume reviews and stuff like that. And so I always welcome people to connect with me on LinkedIn if you want. And then, yeah, by all means, come hang out with me on Discord. Send me a message over there if you want to chat with stuff. AI computer use. The ability for LLMs to take control over a computer also means they're able to do much more complex mechanics when it comes to gaming. Yeah. So funny enough, I've got an idea for an AI-driven game using my local AI setup, not the frontier models, because that would get really expensive, but to have a dedicated game night where it's like D&D night, where everybody that comes by in chat can join and you become a character in a small D&D like one-shot session or something like that. And then people can just type in chat like what they want their character to do. But we would do something like a roll for initiative kind of like right at the very beginning of the game, so everybody knows whose turn it is, and then whatever you type in, it'll sort of process that as part of the game. So that way people aren't talking over each other, and I mean, chat's going to get haywire and whatever, but use Tangi as a voice mod. Yeah, I've done voice mod things. I've done text-to-speech quite a bit in the past, and that generally works really, really well. Like Zork for the internet. Yeah, that would be fun. But yeah, I've actually got something already written, which is an AI tabletop thing where the AI plays Dungeon Master. And I've got a couple of scenarios that I've really liked, and we actually talked about this Thursday on stream, where one of the ideas that I had was in amnesia mode, where everybody that joins, you wake up and you've got amnesia. You don't know like where you are or why you are. All you know is you're carrying a dagger and so happens to find a wand, and someone else is, holding a sword for some reason. And so you gradually learn who your character is over time. And the kinds of skills and abilities, like you have to ask the DM, like, can I try and jump over a thing? Can I try and climb a wall? And be like, well, you're not really suited for that kind of thing. And it'll like gradually reveal to you, information about your character sheet. It could be kind of interesting to do that, especially if we had like a recurring group of people that were always going to come by stream and do that on stream. It would take several hours to like work through some parts of the story, but I think that could also be really fun too. There's a movie with that idea, kind of. I wonder whether the person with the wand can conjure me up some job leads. Yeah, that would be fun for sure, Lapta. All right, let's see. Okay, so it looks like that fixed the reticle problem. So let's go try another game here real quick. I just want to make sure that this got fixed.
Roger, command.
So go ahead and we'll join this one, and then if this works out okay, then we'll. I want to commit that code and get it pushed. So go ahead and join. We're only going to do like a couple of rounds. I just want to make sure that the reticles actually show up properly here. So I'm going to join on YouTube just so I can send coordinates on YouTube. So we will see a red reticle for YouTube and we'll see a purple one for Twitch. I didn't even ask the LLM to do that for me. It just picked the colors, which I think is kind of interesting. Oz says, I've been teaching myself Lua over the last 3 or 4 years. I've never really gotten into Lua. I know it's used really heavily with things like World of Warcraft add-ons and stuff like that. That's literally my only exposure to Lua, was browsing through some World of Warcraft plugins and seeing how they worked and how they interact with the game. But that's literally like all I've ever done in Lua. But having an additional programming language on top of it is interesting. Use it for DCS World. Oh, it's a flight sim. Neat. Okay, well, let's try this out. So I'm going to do A5 on YouTube, and there's the red one, and it drew the lines in. So if somebody wants to enter a coordinate on Twitch, we should see a purple one show up as well. So I'm also going to do like N11, and we should see the YouTube one shift down. Yeah. So now basically this is going to show you where the average is. So as your coordinates get entered in chat, it's going to average them out, and then that's where your platform bomber is going to like come swoop in and fire on those positions.
Eagle 1. Targeting systems
So
active.
this one does get pretty
Stand by.
chaotic because you don't know what that average is actually going to end up being, and there's always that one person in the group that's going to like find something else. All right, so we hit a boat. We should have gotten some points. We didn't see the chat message that anybody won any points. But we'll get some coordinates going here on each of the platforms, and we'll see what we can do. Let's also do G8 over here, see if we can get that in time.
Roger, Command. Eagle 1. Targeting systems active. Stand by.
So there's always going to be a latency issue with these kinds of games where, oh, we both hit mines. All right, so I got timed out on YouTube. I can't play, and looks like Oz got timed out over on over on Twitch. So yeah, there are a lot more mines that can be hit for sure. So yeah, we're basically out unless anybody else wants to join the game. But okay, well the reticles show up though.
Command,
that's mostly
this is
where I
Eagle
was.
1.
But yeah, look at that cluster of
We
mines
lost
right
her.
in the middle. That would have been really
Game
hard to
over.
get around. I wanted a version of the game that was just like pure chaos, and I figured by having that average plus like way more mines, you know, what could be more chaotic than that besides like having something shoot down your bomber. Yeah. Anyway, good times. Fun. But yeah, if you've got who else was it in chat that said they had an idea? Oh, it was the AI driven. So Pro Evils, tell me a little bit more, like what kind of game idea did you have in mind for like the AI side of things? I mean, I very rarely let an LLM take over my entire computer. I tend to keep things pretty sandboxed. There have been way too many horror stories of AI agents going off the rails and like deleting files that you can never recover and things like that. Carpet bombing, that would be fun. That could be like another power-up idea. So now you got me thinking of all these power-up ideas of like carpet bombing where, you know, you give it a range of coordinates and it just bombs everything in that range. So you go like I1 through E5 and it'll like carpet bomb the whole diagonal or something like that. That could be pretty fun. And you got me thinking of all kinds of fun ideas now. But yeah, Pro Evils, if you had other ideas on like AI interaction, like I said, the one idea that I had was like a tabletop D&D kind of style game where, you know, the AI comes up with a scenario, or we pick, you know, maybe collectively as chat, we pick one of 5 scenarios, and then it just figures out from there, like, you know, how does everybody play? Or, you know, you just enter like simple skills or whatever. Maybe when it's your turn, it'll show like a list of skills down the side and you pick one of those, you put it in chat, but you've got a timeout, you know, or like a timer. And if you don't enter anything in time, then, you know, you miss your turn or something like that. So that way, if people walk away, we're not sitting there waiting for them to come back to take their turn before we can progress the game. Games that typically require much more than one action. Normally we're bound to input output, but not with computer use. If you imagine a game like RuneScape. Oh, yeah. So there are things like that in Streamer.bot already. You can have Streamer.bot commands actually interact with your computer. If you're playing certain games, you can say like, if this chat command comes in, press the down arrow on my keyboard for 5 seconds or something like that. So while I'm playing a game, someone, you know, types in a chat command and suddenly my plane is like, you know, headed towards the ground or something for 5 seconds and I can't do anything about it because Streamer.bot is literally holding down my down arrow or something like that. So some of those interactions already exist, but it would be up to the streamer/programmer to figure out like, for this game, here's a chat command, you know, for chaos, you know, kind of thing. I would love to do deeper hooks into games, like if I'm playing Minecraft, where someone can come in and be like, you know, write my name in Minecraft, and like the player goes off and like starts stacking up the blocks or whatever to like draw their name, you know, in the Minecraft world or something like that. Those kinds of things would be interesting. Or, you know, switch from one weapon to another weapon or something, you know, while you're in the middle of mining and suddenly you're like hacking at stone with your, you know, with your sword or something instead. But yeah, you can get some pretty interesting interactions within games. Those are already built into Streamer.bot. That's still within the same legacy limitations. So Imagine Chat says gear up for X boss. That would take far more than just a keystroke, but a set of actions, potentially traveling. Kind of problematic the more I think about it, because it's essentially botting. Yeah. And a lot of games are going to like block you from that. But if it's something like, oh, I'm just playing something like Minecraft, you know, go mine some ore or something like that. It's like, okay, I'm just going to dig straight down, you know. How bad could that be? Let's just dig straight down 20 blocks, you know, for better or for worse. You know, you end up in a pit of lava, or you end up falling and, you know, dying. Now you got to scramble and like get back. Meanwhile, chat's trying to interact with your game and, you know, cause you to run off some cliff or something instead. You could get in some pretty strong chaos there. That's where, as a streamer, I would want like some timeouts. Like you can only do one of those things like every couple of minutes. LM Dungeon Master, I think you mentioned, could be cool. I think that could be really fun, where we don't have to have like a dedicated DM or GM design the game or anything like that. But it would be interesting. Like where I would find that interesting is maybe as a streamer, I want to like whisper in the ear of the DM, and I can like type stuff into like a different chat window with the AI to say like, you know, Pro Evils is doing a really good job, give them an extra reward, or, you know, Oz is like causing a lot of disruption in the game, so like, you know, do something that knocks them unconscious for 2 rounds or something like that. You know, and just have like, you know, whisper in the ear of the DM. I think could be kind of an interesting move for the streamer to do, where they're like typing in their own little console, but it's going to influence what the AI is actually going to do for everybody else playing the game. Where that could get really interesting is, depending on the speed of things, you could have like image generation, like get into like diffusion models and things like that to actually draw like, here's what your dungeon actually looks like. You could have it like generate those things on the fly, or if it knows that a boss is in the next room, like start a diffusion process on like actually generating that boss image, because that could take 30 seconds to a minute on even just regular AI kind of hardware. It's not going to be like an instant, like, oh, here's your thing. Like even going to ChatGPT saying, make me an image of, you know, Tiamat the dragon or whatever. It's going to take like 60 seconds to 2 minutes to go generate that image for you. Yeah, tokens per second, exactly. So, and not every streamer is going to have like AI things that they can connect to or have unlimited tokens for that kind of thing. You know, I've got an AI rig here that I get unlimited tokens basically, but I get like 75 tokens a second, you know, at best. So, Cerberus Playground, no, I haven't seen anything like that. 3,000 tokens a second is pretty good for sure. Yeah, I don't do anything that fast. I mean, I pay for a couple of AI accounts that generate things pretty well, like the Battleship stuff that I kind of vibe coded tonight. That was using GLM 5.2, and that worked really, really fast on things. I could have done the same thing on my local AI, but we'd probably still be like working through some of the cross-platform stuff, even by this point in the stream. We're 3 hours in. It's significantly slower, but it's free. It's 100% free. I mean, I had to buy the machine, but it's free. You get astronomical stream by creating custom hardware, mainly custom chips. Yeah. NVIDIA Blackwells, nice. Yeah, I've got 2 Strix Halo systems. One of them I'm on right now for streaming, and the other one is dedicated to AI. So one of them is dedicated as my Windows machine, and I do some agentic stuff on it, but not very much. Most of it is all driven off my other AI machine. And I've got an LLM router set up on there, where it's examining what's in my prompt, and it goes, oh, you're asking for code, let me route it to this LLM, or you're asking for an image, let me route it to that LLM, or you're asking to interpret what's in an image, I'll go send it to that LLM, things like that. Because I've got a lot of plans for like automating stuff around here at home where I can like scan a PDF and it'll go look at that as an image and figure out what I just scanned and then like go sort that file for me, you know, based on the context of what it scanned, you know, things like that. So I've got some pretty interesting ideas for how I want to use this LLM router without having to employ like frontier models for it. So, Maybe see hanging out, just got home. How's the stream been? It's been really good. We got our Battleship game pretty battle tested, no pun intended. We've implemented some new fun like cross-platform features. So the streamer can say like, you know, I stream on YouTube and on Twitch. And so players on YouTube can enter a coordinate and players on Twitch can enter a coordinate, and we see multiple planes fly in and drop bombs. That works out really well. Or we can turn that off and like everybody like all plays the same game together. And then we've had some really good ideas from like Oz and others in chat where it's like, what if we had like a head-to-head mode where everybody that joins, am I still alive? You just crashed my OBS. Oh, I'm back. There we are. I don't know what happened there. I'm back. I don't know if I completely hung up or if I'm still live, but yeah, something about playing that hydrate noise completely hung my system. Yeah, thanks, May. It was all you. No, it was you. You caused it. I'm back though. I think I'm still going on the original stream. It didn't restart anything, so still live. All right. Yeah, something about the hydrate redeem goofed it up, so no big deal. I started Skynet. Yeah, good job, May. Yeah, go give May a follow as well. May is a pretty chill streamer as well. I do need to bounce because I have to do a mock interview with somebody in about 15 minutes. That's another thing that I do on the side is if you need career help, I also do private mock interviews and resume reviews and stuff where I don't do it on stream. I help people out on the side. So I do need to go find a raid target. GG Bab was in here earlier. Freedom Studio is actually a lot of fun. I think we'll go right into Fui. Fui is also doing some really interesting interactive stuff in chat in like a 3D world. So we're going to go check out Fui's stream. I love dropping dad jokes over there. So there's our chat command or our raid command. If you want to go drop that in Fui's chat when we get over there. Super great streamer, Australian, I believe, and is a VTuber, but very entertaining and does a lot of really interesting interactive stuff with chat as well. Hung out on her stream for quite a while last night. So we're going to go hang out over there. And I won't be streaming this coming Thursday. I'll be out of town, or next Sunday, because I'm just barely getting back into town. And so I'm going to try and find some like alternate times I can stream next week when I'm back. What's the price for those reviews? So if you go to Meet a Pro, so I've got everything on there that you can go check out. So you can go check out that, link and you'll see all the prices. They vary based on whether it's an algorithm or a system design, or if you just want a resume review, or if you just want general coaching. I've got like one-off sessions. I've got multi-pack sessions, stuff like that. So let's go right over before that ad hits, and we'll catch everybody over on Fui's stream, and then I'm going to kind of raid and run. But we'll catch everybody else throughout the week. I'll send announcements on Discord when I'm going to stream because I'm going to miss the next two. So catch everybody later. Thanks for hanging out.